Chapter 11. Bankrupt the Bullshit Machine.
You. Wow, Neil, you really outdid yourself this time. What a way to tie a chapter name together with the chapter number. I'm not even going to Google whether or not it's been done before. It's just too brilliant. Me. Wow. Thanks, I think. There is so much great information in this book, and you're impressed by the coincidence of a group of words that came naturally to me because I spent over 20 years in the retail automotive industry. I could have done the same thing for chapters 7 and 13 too. Let's continue. This might be good. Let's see. How to bankrupt the bullshit machine. Or maybe it won't. How would one go about bankrupting the bullshit machine? What would a bankrupt bullshit machine even look like? What type of currency would you have to take away from the bullshit machine to bankrupt it? Is anybody listening? No. This is a book. Let's take a look at this weird, made-up, but could be true for someone somewhere scenario for a moment, while I wait for the universe to help me out with something to type. The bullshit machine is not something inside of each and every human being that we're supposed to hate, dislike, fight with, overcome, or try to get rid of, even though it can feel like that's what it wants us to believe. Like everything we're given in this life, it has a purpose as a tool that we are able to use for growth, understanding, to enhance our experience, and to protect us, which also comes with great responsibility. When we might actually be in danger, the bullshit machine reaches back into the past and remembers similar situations that might be useful to help us in the current situation that we just happen to be in. Let's say you see an aggressive dog that you may have tried to pet before. It remembers how that dog responded to you the last time and throws up a red flag if it feels like you're in danger. Even if it's a different, much friendlier dog, it may remember a time when a dog did bite you, and remind you of how that dog started to act just before it tried to chomp your face off and warn you of any danger. Sounds okay so far, so where's the problem? What if you were never bitten by any dog in your life? Then it might remember all the times where maybe you watched someone get bit, all the YouTube police dog training videos you watched of dogs ripping apart a would-be assailant, and of course, it's going to remember the time you watched Cujo right before bed when you were 7 years old. Never saw Cujo? Sweet. It remembers that when you were 4 years old, you had an Aunt Tippy that was so deathly afraid of dogs that she screamed and yelled, freaking everybody out that one time the neighbor's poodle came within 25 feet of her. She even called the cops and probably pissed herself a little, but she told the family that her drink spilled. Yeah, right, Aunt Tippy. I ain't buying that one. So, now when you see a dog, you might have an irrational sensation of fear and terror in your body, and have no idea where it came from. The bullshit machine isn't going to tell you it was from when you were 4 years old either. It's going to do its best to make you believe that you're really afraid of the silky terrier that walks past your house every day and lets you feel stupid when the owner giggles at your fear. Now it has even more to chew on. Ha! Dog reference. Because you don't like feeling stupid, and the neighbor that walks the dog is super hot and really into fitness and short shorts. After a while, the bullshit machine says you have a confidence problem and are afraid to talk to her, even if it's just a wave to say hi. The bullshit machine is going to tell you that you're not good enough for her, or anyone for that matter, because you think she laughs at you, and is probably talking shit about you to her other fitness friends. So now you won't go to the gym because you think you'll be embarrassed. So here you are, feeling stupid and embarrassed more and more often, afraid to go to the gym, and then you slip into a cake and ice cream depression and gain 80 pounds. In 2 months. Awesome. Something else for the bullshit machine to fix. It tells you, I can't go to the gym because that girl and her friends that you don't know exist might be there, and if I can't go to the gym, I'll never lose the weight and I'll be this fat, ugly, scared of toy breed dogs, afraid to communicate with the opposite sex loser. What the fuck? Hey, no swearing in this chapter. It's just a made-up scenario. There's no need to get angry because we're here to heal this shit. Yo, what did I say about the swearing? But Neil, the title of the book has a swear word in it. Bullshit is not a swear word, it's a machine, and it's got bull in front of it. So yeah, let's move forward, please. This is what the bullshit machine does when we let it live our lives for us and identify with nearly every thought it has. It takes its interpretation of all the stuff that happened in the past, or what we saw happen, or even heard happen, or watched on TV, that gave us feelings we didn't like to feel, and tries to protect us from feeling those feelings ever again. Only, it's working all the fucking time, and most people have no idea how to control it. Okay, that's it. Last warning on the cursing. One more time and it'll be lights out with no dinner. See the little authority figure with all the threats? I'm just typing what's in my head. The bullshit machine continues to run when you're not actually in danger, around the dog, the girl, her friends, or the gym, and allows you to continue to beat yourself up for all the things you think you are, that it made up, and tries to figure out how you could be something different. That's what I'm talking about when I say that we let it live our lives for us. We spend so much time trying to figure out how to get out of, or distract ourselves from, what it created with its solutions, based on what it thinks is the right thing to do, using information that may or may not even be relevant. So, we end up using most of our personal power and focus on these things that never had to be problems in the first place. Without knowing it, we search for more problems based on how we're feeling about the sensations in our bodies, when the searching acts as ignoring them or trying to fix them with distractions when they really just want to be seen. Imagine sitting around watching 24-hour TV news and politics because it hurts to look inside and feel your feelings, so you're distracting yourself by being informed with the hopes of feeling smart and like you can make a difference with a new political party affiliation and something new to fight against. We could all use something else to blame for our problems, right? After soaking in all the contradictions and nonsense in the main programming, and now that you're scared to death and angry of what might happen in the future, you're shown a bunch of commercials, which is the way programming works. You're put in fear about an uncertain future, and then are shown commercials for things like alcohol, exercise equipment, new cars, beauty products, how to regrow hair, pharmaceuticals, or whatever else the media and advertisers want to peddle. These commercials are specifically designed to pound in the fact that you already don't feel good about yourself and show you why you need what they're selling to be a complete and whole person again. Don't feel like exercising or working out? Cool, buy the car you can't afford, and the girls will come running in your direction. Don't like feeling the sensations in your body that make you feel like a loser, but want some quick confidence? Sweet, there's a pill or a stack of pills that you can get from your doctor that will do the job of making you feel better for a while. The side effects may be worse than feeling your feelings, but since they were prescribed by your doctor and you saw the commercial 15 times in the last hour, it must be the solution. When that runs its course and the doctor stops prescribing the pills that you're now addicted to, there's always the alcohol to make you forget your troubles when the car gets repossessed and you can't afford to regrow your rapidly falling out hair. That's only falling out because of the stress you're under. Maybe it's the politicians' fault, or at least the ones your party doesn't agree with, and they should provide you with better healthcare solutions to fix your addiction to shitty food, laziness, pharmaceuticals, booze, and hair tonic. That's good bullshit machine fuel. Now, you're 300 pounds, and at a political rally, defending the government's right to take away your freedoms because some plastic politicians are promising you a life they can never deliver. What you don't know is that you're handing all of your personal power away to all the crap you see outside of yourself, and having high expectations of products and people that only want your money and power. When your demands and expectations aren't met, then a new fight against your environment can begin. This is a system that presents itself as the giver in the form of solutions, but is only designed to take until it can't take anything else. Then you're a victim, and your main goal becomes to fix what other people did to you in the form of revenge and resentment. So there is always plenty to give your power away to. The more you give your power away, the stronger the bullshit machine bank account gets, both yours and society's. But, luckily, there are ways to bankrupt it. Suppose the scary feelings inside of you were met with little to no resistance as they showed up, and you allowed yourself to feel the sensations of being scared, even though you felt embarrassed to be frightened of small dogs. I want to take this opportunity to remind you that this is not about a fear of dogs, large or small, but facing our childhood subconscious fears in adulthood, no matter what they are. What if there was a way to feel and understand those feelings that we call our fears, or possible embarrassment, as the delusions of reality that they are, without harboring another addiction, or blaming it all on our environment and what it did to us? What if we had a way, or many ways, to know ourselves through those emotions, rather than live under and act through the irrational emotions that they cause without succumbing to what the bullshit machine is trying to sell us? What if it's possible to learn what those sensations are telling us outside of what the bullshit machine says? As I type these words, I'm doing so on day 64, and counting, of beginning my day with 3 consecutive hours of meditation, and there's a whole lot of insight to help expand myself from so many hours of silence. What I'm learning in these hours is more valuable than anything I could find on Google, Facebook, and the rest of the internet, and way more powerful than what any news media outlet, advertisement, or politician has to tell or sell anyone. What my meditations are doing is showing me where I've been putting my personal power, and it does this when it's telling me that sitting for 3 hours is stupid, and that I should get up and go do something. When I sit down to meditate, it's just me. No TV, no phone, no internet, no input at all. It's just me and my own bullshit machine with no distractions. Which is actually why many people won't meditate. They're scared of their own thoughts and the sensations that accompany them. which is a little frightening in itself for Earth, because we have a planet full of people trying to change the way others think and how they act, but are afraid to be alone with themselves and their own thoughts and feelings. Here's a thought that I've discovered very deep into my core. If you can't be alone with yourself, your own sensations and your own thoughts, then how can you begin to know and preach about what others should do and how they should live their lives? The bullshit machine wants you to believe that all of your power is in how you control your outside environment, but it wants you to believe that because it's afraid to see itself. When I sit down to meditate, one of the first things that happen is getting past the urge to get up. The bullshit machine immediately starts maneuvering, bargaining, and trying to find a way out with all sorts of nonsense that it makes up that I have to do. Kinda sounds like this. Really, dude? 3 hours? What kind of moron sits for 3 hours? I got shit to do. Let's do an hour now, and maybe later we can finish the other 2. Or maybe even finish tomorrow. Are we doing this tomorrow too? Did we send that email? Oh, here's a great post for Facebook. Are we horny? I feel horny. Don't forget this thought I'm about to remind you of for the next 3 hours. I bet someone is trying to call you right now. Maybe it's a publisher or a client. Check your phone. Let's have pizza for dinner. You get the idea. I'd like to acknowledge that sitting for 3 hours is a long time, and I'm not suggesting that's how you begin if you've never meditated before. I tried it once 64 days ago and just kept going. Sometimes that's how it works. The next chapter will be all about how to meditate, some of what I've tried, what the results were from the different ways of doing it, and how there is no wrong way to do it. Learning to sit through and endure what the bullshit machine is telling me to do has allowed me to keep more of my personal power, because I'm not jumping at every urge to sabotage my life by creating more problems. I'm sitting through the solutions it comes up with that are like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it's trying to break something, so it has something to fix. It's telling me to do something other than what I'm doing in meditation, because it's trying to get me to avoid feeling what I'm feeling at the moment by figuring out ways to fix it. It's making up stories about why I feel how I feel, and wanting me to give the power I have to endure the sensations in my body away to what it's trying to blame them on. The problem for the bullshit machine is that after a while there's a core internal realization that I'm alone, and that those feelings are coming from inside of me, so there's really nothing to blame or fix with an addiction or distraction. As the time passes in meditation, the bullshit machine runs out of gas, and with no fuel to get to the bank, it has a hard time making deposits, but it's not like it gives up because you've meditated. The bullshit machine is hard at work all day, using our energy to do the things it's used to doing, and looking for outside input that will keep your patterns and behaviors as similar to what it knows already. The key for me to break this cycle is to not be so routine throughout the day and be very conscious of what I'm putting in my mind. It's the same as being conscious of what you put in your body when you're on a diet. The bullshit machine thrives on routine and patterns because it's the one that created them. It's how we can live our lives so unconsciously and not be able to recognize the things that trigger us. In my old life, and you may resonate with this, I would wake up to the alarm clock and hit snooze 4 or 5 times while I was wondering what day it was and trying to remember all the things I had to do that day. Then I'd force myself out of bed. The snooze time was filled with me reliving the previous days and having future conversations with people that weren't there, like my boss, the salespeople that worked for me, various customers, my ex-wife, and other people that I might have to argue with. I set the alarm to go off about 40 minutes early so this time would be available, which shows you the power of the bullshit machine when we let it live our lives for us. I thought starting my day with pre-gaming, what I might say in future situations that may never happen, and thinking back on what I should have said in previous conversations was helping me. Instead, I was remembering how I failed to be the person people wanted me to be, then making up how I could have done it better. I was literally kicking my own ass to start my day before anyone else had a chance to. Now that I was good and defeated, I'd get out of bed, start the coffee, and have a cigarette, because if I missed out on that smoke first thing in the morning, I thought that I would become an irritable mess. I was really high anxiety if I ran out of cigarettes the night before, or only had one left in the morning because it made me feel like I wasn't myself, and the bullshit machine was always telling me who I was. I'd come back inside, drink some coffee, poop and play on my phone, and then I'd rush through a shower because I spent too much time playing on my phone. After that, I'd hurry up and get dressed, get in the car, and turn on Spotify with the same songs as always, and take the same way to work, stop at the same Dunkin' Donuts, order the same extra large with cream and sugar, and then get to work the same 15 minutes early, just like I did yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. Each one of those things that I did every morning made me feel like the same person I had always been, and it gave me almost no chance to create anything new. We get used to our familiar routines and get stuck in our comfort zones and then repeat each day like we're fucking robots. Okay, that F-bomb was my fault. Explaining how I used to start my day was putting me to sleep, so I wanted to shake things up a little. So I guess I'm sorry I got testy with you earlier about swearing in this chapter and would like to offer you the chance to go say a bunch of swear words to the first person you see, but wait until you're done reading. Not all my ideas are good ones. Moving on. Lying in bed and beating myself up created familiar Neil chemicals and emotions that I identified with. So did the cigarette first thing, and the other 4 I had before I left for work. Making coffee, the poop and play on my phone time and rushing through my shower. Then, the same with hearing the same songs on the way to work, taking the same way to work, making the same stops, and getting there the same 15 minutes early. All of it was part of me being the same dependable Neil that everyone knew, including my bullshit machine that would flip out if anything changed, whether it was in my control or not. The bullshit machine thrives on patterns and behavior because it created them. I think I said that already, but it makes sense to put it here too, so I'm keeping it. It works so hard to keep those patterns familiar that we don't even realize that we're working for it and not ourselves. It doesn't want to change, and will go to great lengths and spend a tremendous amount of our precious daily energy not to do so. At the end of most days, we're left wondering, why am I so tired all the time? Now you have an idea. The result ends up being that we're exhausted as each day concludes and the bullshit machine bank account is fat and happy, which doesn't sound fair. It really sounds like how most people describe their jobs and the corporations they work for. It sounds like the perfect metaphor for how many people describe their lives. We each have the choice to keep our power, but usually aren't ready to listen outside of what we already know, because we become so focused on our problems, and the bullshit machine makes this type of self-care feel like work. What type of self-care, Neil? I'm ready. I'm all ears. You should be all eyes because this is a book. You have no idea how hard I'm laughing at the last sentence right now. Alongside daily meditation that exposes the bullshit machine's wants and needs, I'll say at least 60 to 90 minutes, you'll find your effective sweet spot, which will also change over time. We can change things up and not be so routine. If you want to bankrupt the bullshit machine, you've got to stop giving it currency to deposit, and the new approach is going to require your presence. As in, I must be present with myself and with what I'm doing throughout the day. As in, I must not be so me. Ouch. I know, right? When I came to this realization, I felt bad for a bit and kind of took it personally, but when I realized the consequence of what I had been creating by being me, my addictions, every day and got over it. I made it easier on myself by asking the question, who am I without my daily routine, and what is my daily routine? Who am I without music and TV creating my mood? Who am I without telling the same jokes, saying the same phrases, and quoting my favorite shows? Who am I if I don't get mad at the things that I like to get mad at, and have so many opinions about the things I have so many opinions about? Who am I if I just shut up for a few days and stop being Neil? Who am I? So, I started paying attention and began to change what I recognized as routine. I started off small by being present with the stuff I did every day, like taking my time in the shower and when I brushed my teeth. I felt how the water felt hitting my body and paid attention to the temperature. Enjoyed smelling the smells, tasting the toothpaste, feeling what it felt like to feel my hands wash my feet, knees, core, and you make up the rest. Then I stopped listening to music in the car, which became a freedom I never knew was there, and unblocked repressed emotions that allowed me to not be such an angry asshole driver. I also had no idea what a History Channel and Food Network junkie I was until I first cut down, and then eventually stopped watching TV. I was giving a ton of my power away by letting the Pawn Stars do my thinking for me, not to mention all the commercials trying to sell me pharmaceuticals and commemorative plates. One day it finally came time to delete all my posts on Facebook and stop posting Neil humor, which was nothing more than what other people expected me to post. I started changing who I thought I was little by little, and even though it wasn't easy at times, I started to notice how good I was feeling. I even stopped paying attention to sports for a while, especially the Cubs, and letting their wins and losses affect and change the mood I was in. I started finding out how amazing I am without all the things the bullshit machine was telling me I needed to do to be me, which led to me easily quitting smoking cigarettes and beginning my days with the 3-hour meditations that I'm currently doing. It's day 66 now, by the way, so yeah, I'm noticing how long this chapter is getting, and that I'll have to continue more about this in chapter 13, which works out perfectly for continuation of bankrupting the bullshit machine. We're about to talk about meditation in chapter 12, which is going to make things really easy to understand for anyone, and maybe even take the scary out of sitting alone in a room for any length of time. Before we move on, though, I'll end this chapter with this. If you want to bankrupt the bullshit machine, understand that you are not the delusion of who you think you are. You're way more powerful than that. We're using too much of our energy to spin the plates of being the personality everyone thinks we should be, because that's what they're used to. The bullshit machine has us multitasking like maniacs, rushing through our day with repetitive nonsense, giving our power away to people and causes we don't care about, and shoving down our creativity, so we can get jobs and pay for shit we don't need. All so we can conform to what society thinks we should be, which steals our power and makes us forget who we really are, and blinds us to a life we'd actually like to create. Well, how's that working out for you currently? Are you happy because you're happy? Or are you content because other people are happy with how you live your life, and they can count on you being the program you're running so they can manipulate you for what they need? Some of the info from this chapter and next chapter will be used together to continue into chapter 13, which will make it easier to start bankrupting the collective bullshit machine and focusing more on input. For now, start taking your time with tasks and enjoying, or at least learning to enjoy more of the moments throughout your day. Take time to look around, appreciate nature or whatever surroundings you're in, consciously breathe, feel your heartbeat, and realize that you don't have to rush through one thing to get to the next. Do things one at a time. Turn off some of the input that makes you stressed, angry, and gives the bullshit machine fuel to try and figure everything out. You don't have to never listen to music in the car again, never watch TV again, or never do the things you like to do ever again. But try not doing those things for a little while, and you'll begin to learn who you really are. Being who you think you are is never a bad thing. The question we can ask ourselves is, how is it a good thing at the moment?